it's a Simon. This is Wrestling Unlimited, as it is Tuesday, the 15th of October, 2024, and we're here to talk about last night's, however you wanted to usually go like today, but it wasn't today, so it's last night's Monday Night Raw. I'm still trying to get over this cold, and last night I was just coughing so bad that I'm like, there's no way I could do a live stream. I can get through a pre-recorded video, but there's no way I could do a live stream. The cough is still here, so I'm going to still be coughing throughout this probably, but it's not near as bad as it was last night, so that's why we didn't do this live stream last night, and we're doing it today instead. Plus, hey, I could say, run a little experiment to see how it actually goes doing it in the middle of the day, doing it the next day. Maybe I should have done it earlier in the day. I don't know. Again, we're running an experiment with this. We didn't have Luke anyways. Luke was out taking care of school stuff, so I'm like, you know what? Perfect time to just push it to the next day, and it's working out. So, again, if my voice sounds all off and weird, or if I start coughing, I'm still getting over a cold or flu or whatever it is. I don't know. Got something. But we have Monday Night Raw to talk about. I thought it was a good show, easy to watch. It was pre-recorded, and because of that, it flowed better because it was pre-recorded. We saw more video packages last night as well, and that, well, was to fill time because they filmed, what was it? They filmed, so last week, they filmed main event, filmed a 2-hour Raw, and then they had to film another 2-hour Raw, but what they ended up doing was only filming an hour and a half. They filmed an hour and a half, and then used filler and whatnot for the rest. So what they filmed live last week for this second Raw, last night's Raw, was only an hour and a half's worth of live content, I guess you would say, in front of the crowd. But with all of that, I thought it was a good show. Not really much as far as newsworthy does go. We do know that we got an Intercontinental Championship match next week on Raw. But I feel like, other than that, wasn't that newsworthy. And I don't know if that's down to it being a pre-tape show or just a, hey, we got time to fill throughout the next couple of weeks till the pay-per-view premium live event. Let's just give them a show. Again, good show, but it was just a show. If you missed it, you really didn't miss much. And with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by hitting or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of two different ways. You can subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, help us out over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live, and that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, remember that if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat. Finally, on YouTube, if you want to support us in another way, you can hit the join button and become a channel member. As a channel member, you can help us out even if it's just at the $1 tier. We greatly appreciate it. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks. Ooh. For Fortnite, Rocket League, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting in and getting finally Black Myth Wukong. Maybe you want to pre-order EA Sports FC 25. So get used to that. Maybe Sonic Cross Shadows Generations. A lot of cool games on the Epic Game Store. Go over there, get some, claim some. Use our code PWUNLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. As far as Raw does go, though, give me one quick second to do something. I need to just check one quick thing. There we go. Yep. As far as Raw does go, the show kicked off with a video package for the women's tag title match. Rhea Ripley then approached Adam Pearce. Wait, nope, I skipped the whole thing, didn't I? Yep, I did. My bad. Various wrestlers were shown arriving at the building. Because this was a tape show, the crowd was cut off, and there was no crowd reaction, including for Cody Rhodes. Rhea Ripley's reaction was live, so they did get a reaction. The camera followed Ripley as she entered the ring. She called out Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, but SmackDown's Tiffany Stratton would come to the ring instead. Stratton had a message from Nia Jax. Stay out of her business or else, because you don't want to be Nia's problem, and she'll make you a big problem. And so these two bickered for a little bit. Ripley told her off, and they argued until Morgan and Rodriguez would attack them from behind. Morgan and Rodriguez would then stand tall in the middle of the ring. So we go to the back after a video package, hyping up the women's tag title match. And Ripley approached Adam Pearce, and she's like, I want him. I want Morgan and Raquel. I want him right now. I want Liv and Raquel. And Pearce is like, I get it. I understand. You're angry. But I can't just let you go out there and fight him yourself by your all alone. She's like, what do you mean? Why not? He's like, if you can find a partner, then I'll grant you the match. And Rhea's all annoyed in this, and she's trying to think who she can go find. And Tiffany Stratton walks up and goes, Adam, did you see what just happened out there? And like the way she said Adam, Adam. And Pearce is just like, hold on, wait. He looks around, looks at Rhea. She do? And Rhea's like, fine, I guess. He goes, okay. And Tiffany's like, well, what does that mean? He goes, don't worry about it, you'll find out. And he walks off, and Tiffany's just like, ugh. So, yeah, she also said she was disrespected in the ring, and Nick Aldis would never let that happen on SmackDown. I thought that was pretty funny, too. We saw that Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson were sitting front row to watch the women's tag title match, which is weird because they had a women's tag title match that they lost on SmackDown. So it's like, what? They're still in the tag title picture? Okay, sure. Yeah, let's go with that. So as far as the women's tag title matches go, when just a little short of 10 minutes, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending against Io Sky and Kairi Sane of Damage Control. Sane wiped out Cargill with a dive ahead of a break early on. Sky controlled Belair afterwards. Belair speared Sky with a great-looking spear, and they each tagged out. Each team seemed to be treated as baby faces, which was kind of weird. No heel in this match. And they really didn't get a good, I guess you could say, hot tag because the crowd wasn't there because they didn't really know who to cheer for, and they both came in at the same time. Excuse me. Sane, though, initially did have the edge on Cargill until Cargill powerbombed her. Sky then broke up the cover, but Belair threw her out of the ring. Cargill then tried slamming Belair onto Sane, but Sane moved out of the way. Damage Control then teamed up, and Sky hoisted Sane in the air for an elevated elbow drop. Cargill then saved Belair from an insane elbow as they drove Sane into the barricade. Belair and Cargill then jawed at Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson in the front row, and I'm like, oh, Lord. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Io Sky then wiped them out with a dive. Sky then jaw-jacked, I guess you would say, with Legend and Jackson as well. Legend then nailed her with a forearm. I guess the ref wasn't paying attention. I don't know, because we couldn't see the ref in the camera angle. This then allowed Belair to hit Sky with the KOD in the ring and a pinner to retain the titles. Match was all right. Wasn't anything great, I would say, but it was there. It was all right. It was cool. So Belair and Cargill retained, and I'm like, okay, so are Lash and Jakar going to go, hey, we helped you. Give us another shot. Or is this going to lead to Damage Control versus Meta Girls? So Finn Balor and JD McDonough approached Adam Pearce backstage. Balor wanted a rematch against Damian Priest. Pearce blew him off. He's like, you need to defend your tag titles. Morgan, Dominic, and Carlito then approached. And Balor was all mad. And the subtext here was that Balor seemed more concerned about Priest than defending the tag titles. He leaves. Liv then goes, hey guys, I want to introduce you to Raquel over here. And Carlito goes, oh, and like they look at Carlito, and Carlito's just like all smitten over Raquel. And I'm like, All right. Well, that's kind of funny. American Made had a little video package, hyping themselves up. This was followed by immediately a Braun Breaker video package, talking about Jey Uso and the IC title. Braun said that he showed Jey respect, but was offered no respect in return. Braun said that they weren't the same. They weren't a couple of second and third generation wrestlers. They weren't a couple of second and third generation wrestlers counting on their family's legacy. Braun says he didn't even need his family. He said, Jey been sucking off his family's legacy for 14 years. Said, no, he did not. No, he did not say fucking sucking off. This man, Braun Breaker, and they left it in the video package, said, Jey Uso, you've been sucking off your family's legacy for 14 years. I said, holy crap. They did not just say that. What the hell? He said Jey wanted to do things on his own, but he didn't take this ass kicking on it. But he'd have to take his ass kicking on his own too. Braun was coming for him in the Intercontinental Championship. Jey's family couldn't save him. We did learn that match will be coming next week. We get what? Huh? Another video package. This was interesting. And stuff like this is good, but the end result is where I'm like, you're the GM. Just make the match. So we've got Anna Pierce sitting with Bronson Reed somewhere. I don't know, outside somewhere. Reed's like, hey, you told me to make a name for myself. I want to be a top guy. I took out a top guy. Now I want to match with Seth Rollins. If it weren't Rollins, and if it weren't for Rollins, Reed would be the last man standing over Braun Strowman. Pierce wouldn't agree to anything. It was like, hey, are we on the same page? You're going to stop attacking everybody and causing damage and hoopla? And Reed was like, you know what? All that carnage because I want to get to the top and I need to prove myself. So if I could beat Rollins, then I'm there. And Pierce just goes, all right, let me talk to Seth. What? So you got to talk to Seth to get Seth to approve the match. But earlier when Rhea's like, I want Raquel and Liv. You don't got to ask Raquel and Liv. You just go, okay, your team with Tiffany, you got the match. Why doesn't he just go, you know what? Let's make it and end this now, you and Seth. Why does he have to go talk to Seth? Now we get a segment later where he doesn't think Seth should do the match. That's a whole different story, but it's like, I kind of get it, but I don't at the same time. You know what I mean? So the Alpha Academy come down to the ring, Otis and Tozawa, and we learn that there is a new tournament on Raw that will crown the next number one contenders for the World Tag Team Champions. So Otis and Tozawa come out. We go to a break. When we come back, we find out who their opponents are. It's the team of the War Raiders. Eric and Ivar are back. The War Raiders are back, and they're on Raw, wanting to go after the Raw Tag Team titles. Now, a couple of things here. They got the old name back from NXT, War Raiders. Now, if you don't know, let's give you a little history lesson on the War Raiders, Viking Experience, Viking Raiders. So they're War Machine on the independents in Japan and so forth. Come to WWE and they're like, well, we can't use that name. There's a MMA fighter that did a lot of bad. And so War Machine, it's kind of tied to him. Plus War Machine, we probably can't trademark it because of Marvel. So we're going to change your name. And they change it to War Raiders and everyone's cool with it. Vince then finds out there's Vikings in NXT. I love Vikings. I want them now. And Vikings have to be in the name. So Vince wants Eric and Ivar. And then they had their real names, Hanson and Rowan in NXT. And Vince is like, no, we're changing their names. It's Eric and Ivar. But I need a tag name that's got Viking in it because I love Vikings. And so they come up with the Viking Experience. And they'll tell you right now, they never liked the name. They debut. The name lasts 3 days before they change it. When they're like, yeah, fans shit all over this. So they changed the name to the Viking Raiders. Everyone's like, okay, cool, whatever. Because Vince was adamant. Viking was in the name. And apparently they tried to be just the Vikings. Couldn't get that past legal because of the NFL team and the TV show Vikings. So that's why they were Viking Experience. It then got changed to Viking Raiders. Well, Eric and Ivar. Eric gets hurt a year ago. or 10 months ago or so. And he's on the shelf. Ivar does his thing for a little while by himself with Valhalla, which we didn't see her last night, interestingly. And then he goes away for a little while. And they come back. Boom. They're the War Raiders. Awesome. Love it. Great. Those are your little Viking Raiders, War Raiders, Viking experience history lesson. As far as the match does go, not much to it. 2 minutes and 30 seconds-ish. Ivar and Eric won quickly by pinning Tozawa. Otis didn't even get to do a full caterpillar. He did the worm, but never dropped the caterpillar. They destroyed both guys. Otis got a little bit of offense in, and there we go. I didn't even get many notes because not much happened. So, yeah. War Raiders advance in the tournament. The interesting thing is, who are they facing? Because if we look, I'm going to pull this up on the screen. Go to Twitter really fast. So we've got how many matches announced for next week? 2. So we need one more of the, but let me pull this up on the screen. We do know that next week whoops, I just clicked the wrong button. We do know that next week, why is this not wanting to come up? There we go. These 2 matches will be taking place. These 2 matches will be give me 1 second. I need to respond to a message. But these 2 matches will be taking place in the tag tournament. And you would assume, okay, those teams face each other. But we need one more match that will determine who's going to face the Viking Raiders or the War Raiders. We're going to get used to saying that one. Give me 1 second. I have to respond to a message. Okay. So, and I clicked the wrong button. Let's go. Boom. Okay. So, I assume, and then it's like, well, what other teams are on Raw? So let's go look at the Raw roster really fast that could face off for this match. Let me see really quickly. Let's open this up here. Raw roster. I'm sick. Why do I review the show? Because it's my job. I got to make money to pay the bills and keep the lights on, buddy. So as far as like tag teams do go on Raw, I guess you could do. Let me see. Let me go back to looking at that. Who we have already. You do have the LWO. Well, you already have 2 members of the LWO. As I say, Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild, but you already have Ray and Dragon Lee. So maybe not. You already got the New Day. Ludwig Kaiser's no longer in a tag team. Otis and Tozawa have been eliminated. Miz and Truth are done. I don't see 2 more tag teams unless you bring someone up from like NXT. They might have a problem. They might have it unless you do a triple threat in the finals. That's a possibility. A triple threat in the finals. That's a possibility. Because as of right now, I don't see 2 more teams to add into this tournament. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Also, moving forward, Adam Pearce approaches Seth Rollins in the locker room. Rollins wanted to know if he'd make the match. Pearce is like, I don't know if I should. You only wrestled 6 matches this year, and you were hurt every time. Rollins was like, injuries are part of the game. It doesn't matter. Young guys try to take advantage of injuries all the time, and Reed's no different. Rollins is like, I need to fight. And I need to keep my spot in this and that. And he's like, I want the match. Do it. And Pearce is like, well, I want you to be the best Seth Rollins you could be at. If you take this match, that might not be the case. And Seth's just like, all right, I'll think about it. But we're going to get the match. I'm pretty certain we're going to get the match. So then Cody Rhodes came out. Cody Rhodes came out to the ring. He considers himself a wrestling and sports entertainment traditionalist. So he was proud to stand in a city with such a rich history in pro wrestling, St. Louis. Cody then said that he wanted to thank St. Louis because this was the first place that he heard, "We want Cody" chants. He's like, I want to thank you very, very, very much. Out would then come Gunther. Gunther admitted that he would normally enter and dress down his opponent, make him uncomfortable, tell him some truths. But the truth was that the business was booming thanks to Rhodes. Rhodes made every town, did everything he had to, was the consummate professional, the quarterback. And there weren't many that Gunther respected, but he does respect Cody. However, Gunther did have one thing to say. Rhodes loves being everybody's darling. Rhodes was even at odds with his own friend Kevin. Rhodes then respected Gunther, but saw at WrestleMania that he could be broken. Rhodes warned that Gunther has never been in the ring with him. Gunther called Rhodes a true secondary champion, and Rhodes thought that was funny, considering that he beat the most dominant champion in history. And he beat another frightening beast as well along that road. Second mention of Brock, because Seth earlier, I forgot to mention, he's like, I'm a beast slayer. I've killed kings, and he said one other thing, but I'm like, oh, beast slayer, that's Brock. And then Cody over here saying I beat a frightening beast. That's Brock. Two mentions of Brock on this show. Rhodes then offered his hand. Gunther shook it. Gunther then said, good luck to me, the champ, and walked off. Awesome Dragon Lee hype video that's just going to lead to him. I was like, oh, Dragon Lee going to get some singles action. Nope, he's teaming with Ray next week. So we had Braun Breaker versus Kofi Kingston in an 8.5-minute match. Braun controlled through a break, but Kingston made a comeback and hit an SOS for a 2. Braun then caught him off the ropes and with a suplex and followed with a spear for the victory. Again, not much to these matches. There really wasn't much to the matches, even though they went long. They all felt really stretched out, to be completely honest. Braun then went to attack Kofi after the match, but Woods would run down to make the save and chase him away. Braun then attacked Woods. With his back turned, before long, he was speared. Jey Uso would then enter and speared Braun. Jay checked on New Day, super kicked Braun off the apron, and there we go. This is now leading to a rematch next week for the IC title. Jey Uso defending against Braun Breaker. Damian Priest approached Rhea Ripley backstage, asked if she wanted him to be out there, and she was like, no, I don't need you, we're fine. I can do this on my own. Ripley said it was Tiffy's time to stand on the apron and look pretty while I take care of these women. Ripley then said, we good though with Judgment Day and all that? She goes, if you still have a problem with them, I'll be there for you. Basically said, but, it's time for you to move on. You beat Finn. Maybe now it's time to get back what is rightfully yours. And he's like, you know what? I agree. I think it is time for me to once again be a campeon. And then they hugged, and there we go. These two have, I don't know if they're just this close in real life, but they really come off like a brother-sister bond. And it oozes off the screen greatly. Like they feel like, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest feel like they have a real, not just, we're acting and this is what we're supposed to do on camera because that's the job. No, they feel like they have a real brother-sister bond. Then we got R-Truth versus The Miz that lasted a whole minute. They were in the ring, carrying Cross to the Final Testament, came down, they distracted Truth. Miz hit him with the roll-up, pinned him, bop, bop, bop. That was it. It was a minute. Truth then goes to hug Miz in celebration. What? I get Truth's little wacky saying he's stupid, but that was just another level. Cross then had AOP send Truth back into the ring, where Miz would give him a skull-crushing finale. Also, during this, the Wyatt's graphic did glitch on the screen. So, Wyatt's maybe going after Miz or Truth. Honestly, I wouldn't be too against Wyatt's going after Final Testament. Wyatt 6, Final Testament. Let's see them Halloween gimmicks clash. So, in the back, Jey Uso went into his locker room, and there was his brother Jimmy. He's like, hey, can I get a minute? And Jimmy's just like, no, and he walks off. Actually, wait. It may have been earlier. I may have my notes wrong. Let me see something really fast. Yeah. So that was earlier. Then at this point, Jimmy's looking for Jey. He's just opening random doors, too. Hey. Hello? Well, what if he walked into, like, the woman's locker room or something? Anyways, he finally finds Jey, and Jay's like, hey, I already told you, I want nothing to do with this. And he pleaded with Jey. He's like, we need your help, bro. And he's like, tough luck, basically. He basically told him, tough luck. As far as next week's show does go, 3 matches have been announced. The IC title will be on the line when Jey Uso defends against Braun Breaker. In the first round match in the tag team title #1 contender tournament, the New Day take on AOP. The LWO's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee will take on the Creed brothers of American Made. So let me go to our main event. It was about 8.5 minutes, maybe a little longer. It is Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton against Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. Ripley and Stratton argued outside the ring, so Rodriguez powerbombed Morgan. So match starts, and they're kind of going back and forth, whatever, and Tiffany gets a blind tag, and it pisses off Rhea. And then eventually Tiffany and Rhea are arguing on the outside, and we get a very cool spot to go to a commercial break, where basically Liv runs at Raquel in the ring. Raquel lifts up Liv, power bombs her over the top rope, right on to the other women on the outside. I believe they used to do this before when they were tag team champions. I don't think this is the first time we've seen that, but it's always cool to see. We go to a break. It was about 2 minutes into the match. Morgan and Rodriguez then worked over Stratton until she made a tag to Ripley, who hit Morgan with a riptide, but Rodriguez broke up the cover. Ripley tagged in Stratton, while Ripley went out after Rodriguez. Stratton went for the PME, but Morgan moved. Nia Jax would then run out and attack Ripley, and the referee had to call for the bell. So, yeah. Match just ends in a DQ. No win. No loss. Everybody wins and loses, I guess. I don't know. Match ends in a DQ, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So then Nia beats down Liv in the ring where Liv looks dead. And she starts yelling at Tiffany, where's your briefcase? Where's your... Look! She's... Go cash in! And Tiffany's like, oh yeah. So she runs over, grabs the briefcase, looks at the referee, and she's like, I want to cash in. And the ref's like, are you sure? I want to cash. And then all of a sudden, Dom runs out and pulls Liv out of the ring. And it's like, oh, okay. They carry Liv out. Nia's not too happy with Tiffany for taking too long, and there we go. The show goes off the air. With that, that was this week's Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen. Not a bad show. I wouldn't call it a great show or anything. Very easy to watch and flowed very well. With that, we have a couple of polls. Didn't do all the polls, but we have a couple of polls for you guys watching live to see what you guys thought of the show as far as the YouTube live poll does go. 68% liked the show. 18% thought, no, it's still changing. Let's end it. 65% liked the show. 20% thought it was just all right. And 14% didn't like it. And everybody that voted on Twitch liked the show. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, guys, have a great rest of your Tuesday. Have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. No, Kid Vicious. No NXT review tonight. We only did it for the first 2 shows just because they were out of location. They were in bigger venues and they were special shows. I will watch it, and if there's any news, we will give you the news from NXT, but no review. No. But with that, guys, have a good one, and we'll see you next time. Also, oh, wait. RTS with Oscar. RTS with Oscar. I'm going to butcher the whole thing. It doesn't show me the whole name, sorry. Oscar Montel says, Sarah Logan to reunite with Liv, question mark? No. I would love it, but no, they just brought in Raquel. So no. I would love it if they would, but I don't think so because they just brought in Raquel, so they're not going to bring another female into the Judgment Day. It's like you don't need to balance it out or something. It's like, what are you trying to do? Balance out male to female ratio? You already got Raquel. She's the heavy heater. And there we go. So I would love it. I would love to see that reunion, but no. I eventually think that Sarah Logan will just probably be with Eric and Ivar and the War Raiders. So with that, guys, again, thank you for the super chat donation. Thank you for the question.